just insanity for me to constantly care for that deep soul, feel love, feel that protective, connective kind of love. I know that I love you because I want to. Kind of love. Not because of obligation, desperation, not judgmental conversations, communication is my optimum.
Greetings, beautiful ones. I am Ms. BJ Martin, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Be slugs for a little while. Thank you all for joining me. And now I would like to bring my special, amazing guest to the stage.
How are you?
Yes, greetings. This is Mr. Jeffrey Berger, but he said we can call him Jeff. Thank you for being on Snails with No Shells. We appreciate you.
No, thank you. And I left my shell at the door. So
awesome. That's the only rule.
It's been off for a long time.
Good. I love it. All right, so we'll get into it. According to your bio, you are I love this. You said first, you're a humanitarian.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love that. Entrepreneur, you're passionate about health and wellness. Why? After 2 decades of following a broken system leading me down a path to early death, my life turned around in 2018. We'll start, I love that humanitarian thing, because I am too. And today is just so happened to be Mental Health Mondays. It's perfect. It's all in alignment. Yes, Mental
There
Health
you go.
Mondays.
Right.
Yes, so I love that. There are no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason.
You got that right. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so Jeff, where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Western New York, small town outside of Buffalo called Elma, New York. And I'm the first of 5 boys in a family. And I am an identical twin. And so that's where I'm originally from.
Okay, so first the oldest.
Right.
Oh man, that's got to be pressure. The oldest of 5.
Big time. And I was the one, the baby got away with murder. They always get away with everything. With the firstborn, the first ones that are born, just no. And by the time the 5th one is up, it's like, oh, whatever. I hope he's not going to watch this one. He'll be dead.
Wow. So I was going to ask you. So how was it growing up in New York? How was that?
I had a relatively good childhood. I mean, I was active in sports. I had a really good group of friends. I was in sports. I was in the theater. I was in the chorus. I played music. I played piano. So I was pretty well rounded in that aspect. And it was. Grew up out in the country. You can't do too much in the country in the 60s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated in 73. But all that world has changed as of today. It's not the same as it was back then. Mm-hmm. But it was good. It was good.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. You're right. It's not the same anywhere.
Right.
Anymore. Yeah. Everything has changed ever since the internet. I mean, we love it, but it's changed everything. So
yes.
Okay, that's beautiful. So tell me who you are today.
So wow, that's you got a couple hours? No. So my life has really evolved in just ways that I never even thought they would in regards to my journey. And so just real quick, when I left high school, I was in pre-med. Then I left pre-med and went into being in a band, and I was on tour for 4 years playing keyboard. And then I left that and was back in Buffalo. And then I ended up getting involved with dance, I went and taught in Italy for 6 months in Italy, came back, and then I ended up moving to New York to pursue a professional career in performing arts.
Wow.
And ended up fracturing my back in a rock video. And then I ended up moving to Boston, Massachusetts. I couldn't perform professionally because of that injury. And I got into software engineering, and I was a software engineer for 25 years. And during the last 5 years of my career, it just, corporate America, grind. And my industry, you were working 6-7 days a week, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And I got to the point where I was getting burnt out, and I was not satisfied with what I was doing. And I always wanted to do something humanitarian. And doing what I was doing was not going to allow that. And so I left corporate America being totally burnt out in 2016 and was kind of soul searching, looking for things. And in 2018, I was actually introduced to holistic wellness. And fortunately, I was, introduced to that when I moved down to Florida, because I live down in Florida now. I'm in Cape Coral, Florida. And my doctor was going to put me on a 6th medication because I was type 2 diabetic. And I said, absolutely not. No, there's got to be another way. And so I have since then, really come into holistic wellness. And I was introduced to a company that is the first holistic mental wellness company that actually focuses on the microbiome, which is the gut, brain, heart axis, and a science that I believe is disrupting the health and wellness industry today, because as Hippocrates, the good old grandfather of philosophy and doctor, said that all disease starts in the gut. And with that, I was able to reverse my type 2 diabetes, lose 60 pounds, come off of 5 medication, and then reduce my anxiety, stress, and depression that was at a 10 plus for decades down to a 1 with absolutely no depression these last 3 years. And during those 3 years, I also got certified as a health and integrative wellness coach because I started to become passionate about health and wellness. And then this past year in June, I got a certification in holistic mental wellness, and with a focus and a major concentration on the gut microbiome, because most of mental health starts down in the gut. So, and now I'm an advocate, and I am coaching people. I'm really out there being part of that humanitarian entrepreneur tribe, if you will, that is banding together to lead the global holistic mental wellness revolution with a platform of products and programs that are specifically targeting gut health and mental acuity, which is anything to do with mental health from that aspect. So that's where I am. I started out, left high school, went into pre-med. Now I'm back into health and wellness, but on the other side of the fence, because I left Western medicine primarily because my father passed away from type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and a leg amputation. Then his sister did, and then his brother did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the next one in line here. I got to break that paradigm. And that paradigm can be broken. And unfortunately, I don't take away from Western medicine 100% because, hey, I'm the first one to raise my hand. Give me the morphine when I'm passing a kidney stone. But in my eyes, pharmaceuticals has its place, but I didn't need morphine every day, every week, every month, every year because of that. So, so that's where I stand with that. And that's a little bit about how I've come around through to where I am today.
Wow. And so, and I definitely agree with you when you say how the paradigm can be changed. I talked about that. Maybe a couple of days ago. I was saying, when you choose yourself first, when you focus on you and get your mental health together, you can change your whole bloodline. You can change the future trajectory of your bloodline coming in. You showing them, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do it this way. It's you. It's
Right.
us that the rest of our family members have to depend on.
Right.
We have to be the ones that say, we're going to do it like this now. Let's focus on this. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure that we check in with ourselves and focus on ourselves and make sure our mental health is intact, because we have a tendency that we try to ignore it, like it's not, like it doesn't exist. And there was a time where it was kind of an embarrassing thing to admit that
Yes.
you had, some mental issues, and that you needed to, seek therapy, or, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. That's
No,
embarrassing.
it's shame. It's
Yeah.
shame. But it's starting to be broken, because everybody deals with stress, anxiety, depression to some level.
Yeah.
And as you said, we need to love ourselves and really take care of ourselves. And what I've come to determine is that we need to really take care of our own health. I was following a protocol that a system that's in my eyes, it's broken, because the very first thing that your doctor does is go for that prescription pad, and they don't get to the root of the cause of the issue. And that's what needs to happen, but it's just covered up with a Band-Aid of pharmaceuticals and making things worse. So, when I was dealing with 25 years of this, type 2 diabetes, developing heart disease and stuff. And last month, I had come out of the brand new doctor's office, because my previous doctor kicked me out of her office because I came off the 5 meds. But
Are you serious?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah. And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, you're one of those doctors." And she said, "What do you mean I'm one of those doctors?" I said, "Well, you're one of those doctors that will only take patients who are, customers of the pharmaceutical industry, because that's 90% of your income. And now that I'm off of the meds, you're not making any money on me." So with that, I just, the new doctor said, "Hey, whatever you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, because you're in the best health you've been in over 25 years. So I'm doing something right."
Yes. And I wanted to, just to go back just a little bit. You said you were dealing with anxiety,
Oh, yeah.
Depression, and I do know that when a lot of those things, when we're dealing with those things, the mental, it comes out in the physical ways, in different diseases.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So you said that you you dealt with it for a while.
Long time. Well, let me just add this too, BJ, because
Yes.
as a young, in my younger years, I was basically, I come from childhood molestation. I was chemical dependent, and I am I'm a survivor of 2 attempted suicides. So that was earlier in my years. But after I woke up from that second attempt, after 3 days in my apartment in Boston, Massachusetts, I'm like, okay, I'm in my apartment. I'm not in heaven. I'm not in hell, and I'm not in purgatory. So I must be here for a reason. And that kind of woke me up to say, okay, there's got to be a purpose for me.
Yes.
And so over the years, I was struggling for that purpose, and I found my purpose. And it took longer than I thought, but I found it. I'm passionate about what I do. And as I said earlier, about making a difference. I'm making a difference. And that's what I want to do, So it's been a blessing in many, many ways. So I'm very, very thankful.
Yes, and like I said, there are no accidents, because I too have tried to take my own life when I was in high school.
Yes. Yeah. I think you mentioned that. I heard you say that. Yes.
Yeah. And I felt like, I felt like me being here, it didn't make a difference. No one would care if I was gone anyway. So as I say, when we us meeting, it's like it's not a coincidence at all, So
Exactly.
I know, and that's why I'm such a mental health advocate, because I know I've been there. I know what it's like. I only talk about what I know, and
Right.
what I've, what I've dealt with and what has happened to me, so I can understand. And plus, I'm an empath, so
Yeah.
I just have the biggest heart, and I just care and love. I just want everybody to be whole and happy and healed.
Exactly.
So yes, I love your story. I do. I
Thank you.
do. So so you said, so how did you say you okay, so can you explain, you said microbiome.
Bio.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you give me some more of the information
Sure.
about that?
Yes, absolutely. So the microbiome is the gut-brain-heart axis, and this is a system. As I mentioned earlier, Hippocrates said that all disease starts in the gut. Well, the microbiome is a system in our body that consists of your three brains, basically your brain in your head, the brain in your stomach, and the brain in your heart. And they actually all talk to each other through our bodies. Our body temple is made up of human cells and microorganisms. So we do have little critters inside of us, as well as viruses. Those entities work synergistically together, creating their own chemicals. Okay. And on top of, the other organs and the other systems. But with that being said, what we have found is, and what science is proving, the foods that we're eating that are chemically treated, and high processed foods and fast foods and the pharmaceuticals are breaking down our gut interior. All right. And this is once you start getting, and I'm sure you've heard of leaky gut. Your gut lining is only one cell layer thick. So think about a brick wall. Each of the red bricks is a cell. The mortar in between is the lining. And when you start breaking through that lining with these chemicals, then that starts what's called dysbiosis, and it starts the disease. I say it opens up Pandora's box, because it could be a plethora of all kinds of diseases that are out there, and destruction from these chemical preservatives. And this is what's been happening over the decades, especially since the 70s. And I do this, I talk about this in my workshop, because I do a free workshop called Mental Fitness for the Busy Entrepreneur.
Okay.
For people, who, do you know what glyphosate is?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, so glyphosate is a chemical in a product called Roundup. And Roundup is a pesticide that they spray on the farmlands to ward off insects. And that's created by Monsanto. So
I've heard of that. Okay. I've heard of
right?
Monsanto.
Exactly. So in 1974, glyphosate was patented as an antibiotic. So that's when they started to inject it into the genes of corn and soy. And whatever the insects didn't eat, who ate it? We did. Because corn and soy was a food filler back in the day, and it still is. So whatever the insects didn't eat, we're consuming that glyphosate over decades. And today, over the last couple of years, I have seen articles about lawsuits against glyphosate for causing cancer in human beings because it's in our foods. So this is a huge, huge disruptor in regards to that. But then also doing a deep dive into researching the food companies. The food companies actually go out to chemical companies to create a chemical preservative that is addictive, that tastes good, and really just destroys your gut. And what I say is, I bet you just can't eat one. So a lot of these chemicals, as I said, they're addictive, but they also have an impact on your anxiety, stress, and depression. Because 90% of our microbiome, 90% of our neurotransmitters are created in our microbiome, which is our gut. 70% of our immune system is at the end of the small intestine. So this is where everything happens, down here first.
Right.
So once you can get that state of biosis, meaning everything is kind of doing well in your gut, you've got good gut flora, then it opens that pathway through the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve in your body that connects to your brain, to your heart, and to the other systems. You open up that communication highway to the brain. So they're talking together. Oops, the heart's over here. Heart to the brain, brain to the gut, so on. And what science is proving, and they've been proving this over the last 4 to 5 years. They've been publishing their research, their clinical studies in medical and scientific journals. And this is from a project that started in 2006, just really scratching the surface. And we're just getting really started with this. 4 to 5 years on this type of research, we are just breaking, science records in regards to health and wellness. And that's why I say it's disrupting the health and wellness industry,
Right.
in regards to where true physical and mental health stem from. So
Yeah.
and that's the microbiome. It is an integral part to our overall well-being. My business name is Abundance and Optimum Wellness. And when you can get your gut into a really good state, I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially.
Yes.
Most people are not doing that today. So gut health is really, really important. And now they're saying that, you get that gut feeling, and it's true.
Yeah.
There is a communication, with these.
Intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the area it usually comes from, in the gut. So if you're saying, so you won't even be able to recognize intuition if your gut is leaky, or if it's full of all those toxins and all the additives and the poison, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so true. And you know what? It's what's interesting. And the more I'm talking about this past year, and here's the thing is this past year, I was actually up in Buffalo, where I'm from, because I had 6 family deaths in 2021. And the last 3 were my mother, my brother, and my mother-in-law. But my stress resilience was like tip top.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And even though I had stress, I had anxiety, but the difference from 3, 4, 5 years ago and past with this, relatively now, that stress, anxiety, it's like, okay, stress, anxiety, what does it mean? What do I do? How do I handle it? Oh, okay, that's what I need to do, rather than react, pounding on the table or slamming doors and screaming at people. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not that old person anymore. And it makes a world of a difference. And stress plays havoc on everything.
Yes.
On everything.
Yes. And I've been doing my research on that, stress and panic attacks. And a lot of us are dealing with this. We're thinking it's just, heartburn, or everybody's stressed out and panicking. I'm like, we have got to change this. We have got, and that's across the board. I mean, men and women, and they say women actually have more panic attacks than men do. And panic attacks can lead to strokes.
Oh, big time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I said, oh, wait a minute, and then most of them start when at a younger age, in their 20s. And I used to have panic attacks. See, I've been through this. I used to have panic attacks in my 20s. So concerned about making the wrong decision, worried about tomorrow.
Right.
So like it's about your gut. It's about it's about what you put in your body. It's about your mental, what you put in your mind, what you put in your body. It all goes together,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've got to feed your body temple with the right nutrients. And what I love about our specific product line is we actually target specific neurotransmitters that aid in gut repair and mental acuity, because it's just like each of the microorganisms in our body, they have They have their own. It's like you talk about an ant colony. Each of the little ants have their own responsibilities to build that nest and take care of the queen, or a beehive. Same thing with the microbiota. Our microorganisms have there's certain ones that aid in reducing anxiety, reducing stress, reducing your cortisol levels, repairing the gut, healing that gut lining and getting rid of the bad bacteria and flourishing and plentiful of more of the good bacteria, because you need the good guys and the bad guys, but more people have more bad guys than they do good, because they need to work together. And that's what this product line does. It's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day too about my own journey with counseling and with pharmaceuticals. I mean, I couldn't take those anti-anxiety drugs or the stress drugs because they made me more psychotic. And so and then the therapy, for me, my experience is, okay, yeah, it worked for a couple of hours, but then like the next day or 2 days later, I'm back to the same old stuff. Right. But because my brain was fogged up and I wasn't thinking properly and my gut was all messed up, once I got onto this protocol 3 years ago, I'm like, I don't have to go to therapy. I don't have to take, any of those drugs anymore. Well, I stopped really doing them. I just hated them because I have no more brain fog. I love myself. I love what I'm doing. I'm taking care of my body. I'm healthy. And once you can start doing that, then your brain starts really opening up to a plethora of all types of positive energies. And this past year, it opened up more spirituality for me because I was like this on spirituality and even emotions. I grew up knowing as a male to build a bridge and get over it. You don't have emotions. Well, you know what? We have hormones. We have feelings. Yeah. Men do cry. Real men cry. Yes. So
let's normalize that.
Yeah.
Men cry. Men ask for help.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother talk show. Because I'm an advocate for that too, mental health. So yes. Yeah, wow. Well, Jeff, you have been amazing. I love this interview, and I know you're gonna have to come back. So sure, okay, so yes, so I have your information going across the bottom, but just go let us know where we can find you.
Sure. I mean, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Just search for Jeffrey E. Berger, and you should be able to pull me up. Just look for the bald-headed dude, and you'll be easily to find me. And those are the three best places. And then you can reach out to me, as BJ has my phone number. Just text me first, because I get so many crank calls and telemarketers during the day. I don't answer. Just text me, hey, I saw you on BJ's call, and then I'll say, hey, give me a call, or I can call you. But and I really invite people, if they're serious about their wellness, physically and mentally, because they all work synergistically together. I do have a free wellness assessment that they can take. And it does come with a 30-minute free consultation. We review the results, and then we talk about the results. Why are you at a 2 instead of a 9 or an 8 or 9 or even a 10? And then you will get some recommendations. We can talk about those recommendations and why they're being recommended, and then open it up for Q&A to really get educated and get informed. And then basically I have them, take the information. Let's take what we talked about here. I might give them some other information, assess it. Does it resonate with you? Are you getting good vibes? It's like, you know what? Yeah, I think I want to evaluate this protocol and this platform, because our platform is guaranteed up to 365 days of the year.
Okay.
you get a full year. And I'm like, a full year in the beginning. Now I know why, because we've been destroying our bodies for decades,
Right.
for years and or decades, depending on how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be that red pill or the blue pill. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort to making those changes, because we work from a molecular level, cellular level, and it takes time to repair and heal that. It took me 9 months. You know, I couldn't come off of 5 meds in just 2 months or a couple of weeks.
Right.
So, so then, and if it doesn't resonate, that's fine, because some things resonate, some things don't. And here's the thing: all of my coaching is free.
Awesome.
My mission is to really get out there and educate people about what we have, and the tens of thousands of people's lives that we're changing, children included, as well as adults. But we're changing lives, and people are starting to live vibrantly again, and being happy, and just getting their health back. And it's so refreshing to see. And that's part of my humanitarian mission. It's like I wanted to make a difference, and that's what I feel is I'm meant to do, is make that difference. And hey, if they can refer me to a family or a friend who's dealing with stuff, then great. If not, that's fine too. But
Awesome.
that's my mission, is being that humanitarian entrepreneur to really help those of us who are really passionate about what we're doing, is to lead that global holistic mental wellness revolution. Because my whole motto is mental fitness is the new physical health. And if you don't have your mental fitness, you can't have physical health. So you got to clean your gut up first to make that communication up here, to open everything up to opportunities and information and changes.
Awesome. Awesome. But that was amazing. Again, I thank you so much for being on my show, Snails with No Shells. Yes. All right. Well, we're going to end it here. Before we go, I would like to say, remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.